All right, back in with another episode of Keeping Up with Southeastern Athletics, and Coach Bird, you guys got to finally play a game, a meaningful game there. It didn't come out the way you wanted. It was a tough loss there at Glencoe, but I'm sure you got a lot of coaching points you can pull away from that game and some positives as well. But just take us back to last Friday night and how it all transpired.
Yeah, I thought we played hard. I thought we played well at times. The defense made some adjustments and played really well, but we actually punted better. We were worried about our punting and ended up punting a lot. So we struggled on offense, but I think we'll get better. We still haven't found the guys that make our identity. We want to be a run first offense, and so we're still, with our injuries and all, we're still looking for some guys to kind of take over that role as the head running back, and then. We just had some issues for the first game, and it's all stuff that we'll get better from.
Coach, how important is it?
It's all fixable for sure.
That's what I was about to say. Is how important was it to get that out before you dive over into region play, get some questions answered and things like that? Because ultimately, every game counts, so they wouldn't keep score. But ultimately, as far as postseason things,
we play one region game in our first four, so they're all tune-ups if you kind of look at that. So. The first three of the first four, so kind of get better and make sure we're where we want to be. We were disappointed, and because we were competitive and we played hard, but we still didn't perform like we wanted to, especially on offense.
What was it about your offense that it probably didn't get out like you wanted them to? Is there any one thing you can kind of dial in on, or was it multiple?
Well, we made some. We had some very costly penalties. Every time we would get one, for example, we had the ball 3rd and 1 and ended up with 2 penalties, so we ended up in a row. So on their side, in the close to the red zone. So and then just a lot of our big plays, we had some stupid mistakes behind it. Just some guys trying to overplay and do too much. So we had some plays called back that would have helped us. So, but we just never maintained a drive. So that's what we like to do. Is we're not a big play offense anyway, but when we do have a big play, we can't have it called back for something we did. And then when we need to drive, we need to be able to have it.
Yeah, those penalties are drive killers, and they're frustrating as a coach. But getting those out early, man, that may be a blessing in disguise for later on.
It is, and we addressed it all week, and when you show it on film and all, that's, hey, get your hands inside, not get that holding call. And you can say it as much as you want, you can run them, but until they throw those yellow flags on Friday night, sometimes you don't get their attention.
That's right. Yeah, it's a different world right there.
Yep.
Coach, talk about the defense. You guys only gave 7 points total there. That had to be a blessing though, because let's be honest, you really didn't know formation schematically what you were going to face. It's kind of they had to react on the fly, but to only give up 7's got to be a blessing.
Yes, and it was 0-0 at halftime. We gave up a drive. They had a good drive coming out of half, and the defense held up, and then we couldn't drive it out of our own red zone or in the negative 20s, and that put them in good position. So they scored that second drive of the second half since we couldn't move the ball on offense. But I think they played really well. I think Andrew Lewis, Owen Wadsworth, our 2 linebackers, had 10 or 11 tackles apiece, and we had a good bunch of guys play really hard. They give a great effort. Matt Lipscomb's the defense coordinator. He made some great adjustments. We had an idea, but then they came out with some stuff that their short yardage stuff we had to adjust to. So they did maintain some drives. But those guys play offense and defense. So
that's right.
We were out of gas in the fourth quarter, but not all the way.
Yeah.
There was still some guys made some plays. We had a chance there at the end. Jericho, Pendleton, and Jess and Hickman, they got together on a few big pass plays, and Jericho had a big run that we got called back that would have tied it. So, there's some positives there, and it took us to the fourth quarter to kind of put it together. But we've got to get our playmakers the ball, and then we've got to do better at maintaining drives, which is all penalties and doing the right thing execution-wise.
Coach, most teams, the best improvements from week 1 to week 2, so to speak. Talk about that.
I hope so.
Yeah, for sure, man. You always look at it as a coach, you want that, but man, you just from hearing, I didn't get to watch the game. We did have one of our photographers there watching the game, and he's echoing pretty much what you're saying there. He said pretty much similar to what you're telling me. But this week in practice, you got Vinemont coming up, but before we talk about them, this week in practice, how did you approach it? I mean, you have some positives there, but there's some things you obviously can clean up. Those are things that are able to clean up.
We've done, we concentrated on the offensive line and running backs, because the guy that we used all summer is still injured and will be out for a while. So we're trying to find the next guy to step up there, and it'll help just the cohesion between the offensive line and that running back to know where the holes are. Because we make a lot of adjustments at the line, so sometimes that hole is not exactly where he thinks it is, because we are a gap scheme a lot of the time.
Right.
So, but we concentrated on that and just making sure that we were in the right calls on the offensive line that we thought, because going into Glencoe, we weren't sure about their front. So we had practiced a few different fronts, and it showed that we made some calls against the wrong front. So, and we should have overcame it, but we didn't. I think, we're going to get into more predictable defenses and people that we're familiar with, so that'll help some. So
coming up.
Yes, and just more, even though they're a veteran offensive line, I still started 2 guys, even though they're older, just in different spots. And we started a 9th grader at center, and and it cost us some. I mean, he played like a 9th grader at times. So, but I'm encouraged. We'll be fine. We're beat up, like I said. We kind of beat ourselves up over the summer too much coming in fall camp, and we're catching that up. But I mean, we should be full strength at some point.
Gotcha. Coach, let's flip the switch and talk about Vinemont a little bit. I know they stumbled out of the block as well, but what did you see from them? And you're familiar with those guys anyways.
Yeah, we've played them even when we haven't played them regular season. We played them in jamborees or whatever. They're just real physical. For us, they love to hit, and we like to be physical too. And then we're just kind of beat up, and then we're going to go against a team that likes to get after you. So everything they do is between the 2 tight ends. They're real tight, a single wing. I think they call it the ugly eagle.
Ugly eagle.
So a lot of bodies on the ground.
Yeah.
So just you got to want it and get after it. And offensively, we've got to put some drives together to help our defense. When
you face the Eagle, I got to watch. I did a coach show, Coach Benefield, for many years, and was up there and watched a lot of victories won. That offense is not built to score per se. It's built to make your defense sit on the sideline, or your offense sit on the sideline.
That's correct.
How important is gap assignment and getting guys on the ground once you get to them there, and being able to take on blockers and things? Because what that offense essentially does is it grinds you up and slows the game down, and then that gets all their momentum. But it's very important that your defense executes really well against it. Right.
You can't give up a big play, and you gotta get a little help from them. They've got to miss a blocking assignment or something, lose a few yards. Because it's if they can get 3 yards a snap, it's kind of like us. If we get 3 yards a snap, we'll go for it on 4th down and just keep grinding on you.
That's right.
So just doing your job. Matt does a real good job with that. The defense does a real good job with that. But it's just important to take the opportunities to get off the field, and we got to make sure that we take. That we get off the field, especially 3rd downs. So those are big, always against them. And when we get the ball, we've got to drive too. So otherwise, it makes for a long night. And like last year, we had a real good, I think it was tied at halftime, but they eventually just wore us down, which is what they wanted to do. But hopefully we're in a little better shape than we were last year. And but they'll be tough and physical, and we know each other. They know what we're going to run. We know what they're going to run, and so.
Coach, when you look at a game like this, it's got to be a tremendous opportunity for you guys. your linebackers and defensive front, this is the kind of games they want. They want this. Your DBs want the one where they pass all
That's
that.
right.
But then on offensively, you guys, only place to go is up. I mean, these guys are ready to get back out there and execute. Just talk about the overall psyche and mentality of the team heading into this week.
Yeah. My senior leadership, is trying to do it. Most of my injuries and bummed up people are in the senior ranks. So some of them have been sitting out of practice. So we've had some younger guys trying to step up, just to fill in those gaps before Friday night. So, I think regardless of win or lose, I think we've got to go out and be successful psyche-wise on offense. Just to build on the season, regardless of win or loss, we've got to feel better about ourselves on offense.
Absolutely.
And that's our main goal, is just to put something out there, maintain some drives, find some positives in the offense. Because I know that the kids are going to play hard. Special teams will be fine. Defense, just holding up to that. But offensively, for us to get where we want to be, we've got to have some positive plays.
Absolutely. No, that's a good thing though.
Yes.
Like I said, it's all correctable stuff though. You ain't got to go reinvent the wheel or nothing like that.
No.
And Coach, before we let you get out of here, just kind of final thoughts. Could be anything. Talk about anything in this upcoming week.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had a really good junior high game last night. Or Monday night, and they were excited even from that. So it's good to see a bunch of the seniors down there cheering those guys on. And I think
that's when you got a program out there. You don't see that everywhere.
Yeah, and I think I had 12 guys down there.
And you don't see that nowhere, matter of fact.
Yeah, they're excited about the young guys. We all practice together, so they all know each other. So they're excited about football. It's just, I don't think they performed. They wanted to score a little bit, and I think they thought they were going to be successful against Glencoe and just weren't. So it's kind of just shaking those cobwebs off and getting after it. So
that's right. Hey man, I'm telling you, it's that time of year though. It's crazy to think football's here, and then now you've already got actual game footage, and you're preparing for another week. It's just like usually it's like 4 or 5 weeks before it hits me. I don't know about you, but before I'm like, whoa, we're in the middle of.
Yeah, well, as you start looking at that schedule, it's like, we got to, kind of looking at how you're going to perform through the season and
that's correct.
How to recover.
That's right.
And with all the injuries, kind of, how are you going to piece it together? So, I mean, it makes it. You start looking at games out when you lose a guy for 2 weeks, and you're like, okay, we got to fill a gap for 2 weeks and that kind of stuff.
Coach, that's why they pay you the big bucks, and I just sit here and do interviews.
It's not as fun as everybody thinks it is.
No, hey, that's a lot of pressure, man. You got to plug and play, but again, that's why they pay you the big bucks, and I just do interviews.
Yes, sir.
Coach, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Looking forward to being back out here each and every week. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.